Good morning. It's time for our daily devotion. I want to take just a few minutes today and the next couple of days to expound a little bit on our sermon yesterday and talking about first things first. And we talked yesterday about three things that I believe Paul was telling Timothy must be a priority in the life of the Christ follower. And the first is that we have to forward the faith. You know, Paul talks about that beautiful story about how Timothy learned about God and learned about faith, learned about the things of God from his mother and grandmother as he sat at their feet and they told him those wonderful narratives of the Old Testament, and they instilled in him the wonder and the awe and the reverence that he should have for God. You know, we live in a society and in a culture where so many Christians, so many people who claim to know Christ and to follow Christ have made the decision with their own children, even their grandchildren, that they're going to withdraw from having any spiritual influence in their life. And they say things like this: well, you know, I'm just going to let my kids decide for themselves. I'm not going to try to influence them. I'm not going to try to make them Christians. I'm not going to try to encourage them to believe what I'm believing. I'm just going to let them grow up and examine all the different options and find a religion or a faith or no religion at all, something that they're comfortable with that will be their own. Well, let me tell you something. You may withdraw your influence from them, and you may decide not to sow the seeds of faith in them from your perspective, and you may decide not to forward the faith that you have into their lives. But there is an enemy out there whose purpose it is to steal, kill, and destroy. And believe me, whether you influence them or not, he's going to do everything in his power to influence them in the wrong direction. So while you're withdrawing your influence completely, he's doubling his efforts to draw them away from the truth, to make them believe a lie, and to take them down a path that is going to lead to destruction. That's what's really happening in our world. And that's why throngs of young people are turning from the faith. It's not that things have drastically changed in their thought patterns about God. It is that those of us who know God have refused to instill in them and to forward to them the faith that we have. We haven't told them the stories of God. We haven't told them the miracles of Jesus. We haven't told them about how God has rescued us and transformed us and moved us from death into light, from darkness into light. We haven't told those stories to them. And so they don't get that influence from us, but they get all kinds of the wrong kinds of influence from the world and from their school systems and from teachers and professors in colleges and from the enemy himself, who is constantly whispering in their ear that what we believe is a lie and what he's telling them is the truth. So listen, folks, we've got to forward the faith. We've got to spend our time influencing as much as we possibly can the lives of the next generation, telling them how great, how wonderful, how loving, how awesome our God is. When we tell those stories of faith, just like with Timothy listening to his mother and his grandmother, when we tell those stories of faith consistently, when we tell them convincingly, when we tell them personally from our own experience, our next generation will begin once again to embrace the faith of their fathers and their mothers. That's what has to happen if we're going to reclaim this next generation for the Lord Jesus Christ. So I encourage you today, the people that you have influence with, the people that you know, the people that you love, the people that you live with and work with and go to school with and hang out with, those people have been put in your life for the specific reason of you forwarding your faith to them. Tell them the stories of God. Go make it a great day today as you share the message of Jesus with people. And I'll see you next time.